Does picking out a microphone to make your videos sound better feel a little bit like this? I mean, it's overwhelming. There's so many choices, so many brands, so many different kinds of microphones. Well, that's what this video is here to help with. I'm gonna go over the 5 main kinds of microphones, the pros and cons of each. As we discuss each kind of microphone, we'll talk on that microphone as we're talking about it so you can hear the sound differences. Let's do it. The first kind of microphone that we're gonna talk about is the cheapest and least hassle. It's a on-camera shotgun microphone. This one in particular is the Rode VideoMicro, which I picked up for about 30 bucks used. The pros of this microphone is that it's just attached to your camera, so it's ready to go. It doesn't require any extra steps. It also doesn't require power. It just runs off the camera's power. And it's also directional because it's a shotgun mic, meaning that it will reject side noise, like this car going. It should, once it gets to the side, reject the noise over there and only pick up the noise in front of it. Also, because the mic is not powered by a battery, it has a low gain, meaning that you need to up your camera preamps, resulting in somewhat of a higher noise floor and a little bit of a hissier audio output. Now we're in the studio with the Rode VideoMicro, the on-camera shotgun mic, about an arm's length from the camera. One of the main benefits of this microphone, which is that it's the least hassle because it's attached to your camera, is also a drawback because you have to be a fixed distance from your camera to have the same audio quality. The farther you get from the camera, the worse the audio gets, and as I enter this scary, dark, evil-looking corner, it gets even worse. The second kind of microphone we're going to talk about is a dynamic microphone. This is one right here. This is the Shure SM58. It goes for about $100. You can get it even cheaper used. This is a tried and true music production microphone. It's been in production from Shure for decades. Because of the nature of it being a dynamic microphone, it's really good for music because it can pick up loud and harsh sounds without clipping, but you're not going to get as much detail in your audio as you would with a condenser microphone, as we'll see later. The pros of dynamic microphones is that they can be cost effective like this one, though there are more and less expensive options out there. It also doesn't require any power for the microphone. You can just plug it directly into your audio recorder and you're good to go. The next pro is also kind of a con. That's that dynamic microphones are not very sensitive. They have a cardioid polar pattern, so just imagine a little invisible sphere surrounding the pickup of the microphone. And other microphones have cardioid polar patterns as well, but dynamic microphones especially have a quick fall off as you get away from the microphone, so you don't get a lot of background noise because things far away from the microphone don't pick up, but you also need to be right on top of the microphone, like I am right now, like called eating the mic, because as I back up here, my voice quickly falls off and you can't even hear me. And another con, which is also kind of a given for the rest of the microphones moving forward other than lav mics, is that you're tethered to an audio recorder or an audio interface, so you don't have as much freedom to move around. Though with dynamic microphones, it does work pretty well to hold it, and it's really good for that because it doesn't have a lot of handling noise. Because dynamic microphones aren't battery powered themselves and also aren't powered through XLR, it has kind of a low gain output and therefore a high noise floor. To get around that, I actually have a gain booster plugged in. This is a Fedhead Phantom, which just amplifies the signal of the microphone before it gets to my audio recorder, which allows me to turn down the preamps in my audio recorder and get a little bit of a cleaner noise signal. And next up, we have condenser microphones. These are most often compared to dynamic microphones, and they're also very popular in music production. The main difference between condensers and dynamics is that condensers do require power, but they put out a higher gain signal so you get a cleaner output. They're best for more detailed, sort of delicate sounds, which is why they're the most popular kind of microphone for spoken word, sort of voiceovers, lyrics, singing, stuff like that. And because they have a higher gain, they're not as good for loud, harsh noises, which is why we have dynamic microphones. This condenser microphone right here is a Blue Yeti Pro. You can get it for about 120 to 150 bucks. There is a cheaper version of this microphone, which is the original Blue Yeti. That's a USB microphone, but this Pro version right here has an XLR output, so I'm able to put it into my audio recorder and treat it the same as a professional mic. The pros of condenser microphones is that they have a high quality sound with lots of detail and a low noise floor, and the cons of condenser microphones is that they're the most hassle. They require a stand and you to power the microphone. They're also one of the most expensive microphone options, and one thing that kind of annoys me is that a lot of condenser microphones have their pickup on the side instead of the top, so you end up kind of blocking your face in order to talk into it properly or talking at an angle. If I had set up the lighting for this shot specifically, I'd probably have the key light on the other side so the microphone wasn't casting a light on my face, but using condenser microphones, especially on screen, present a lot more logistical concerns like that. The next kind of microphone we're going to talk about are lav mics, which I'm using right now, and it's super convenient for something like this when you're filming outside. You don't want to be tethered to anything. It doesn't matter if you turn around and look a different direction because your microphone is literally attached to you. I'm using a Comica CVM-WM 100 Plus wireless lav kit, so it's wirelessly transmitting from this receiver to my audio recorder over there. and it's super convenient. I did a whole review of that if you want to check it out up there. The main pros of using a lav mic are that, of course, it's convenient. It's also invisible, so if you want to hide it and you don't want to see your microphone on camera, it's good for that. It's also really great if you want to individually mic up multiple people at once and isolate their voices, edit it in post. I even use lav mics, this actually same kit of lav mics, 2 different kits, to do a podcast with 4 people, and it works just great. The main cons of lav mics is that you have clothing rustle because if it's attached to your person. It also, if I have it taped to my chest, so if the tape starts getting unstuck, you start to hear that in the audio. And whenever you're using a wireless system like I'm using right now, it's a bit more complicated. There's more parts. I have to have it plugged into the audio recorder, have to have a receiver and a transmitter. And it's also another set of batteries you have to worry about running out. Luckily, these transmitters and receivers run on AA batteries, so I can swap them out. But if they die, your audio obviously doesn't work. And if they have internal batteries like some lav mic systems do, that's even worse because you're just SOL when it dies. The final kind of microphone that I'm going to discuss is the off-camera shotgun mic, which I'm using one right now, the Sennheiser MKE 600. This is the most expensive microphone out of all the ones that we've tested today, coming in at about $300 used. The good thing about off-camera shotgun microphones is that they are directional, so they will point right at your voice and kind of reject the background noise. But instead of relying on your camera's preamps, you run the microphone through XLR to an audio recorder and power it with phantom power, and it results in a really, really good, clear recording of your voice and pretty much nothing else, unless you have a super noisy or echoey environment. Also, because the microphone is detached from the camera, I can do shots like this, or even with longer lenses where I'm farther from the camera, and have the same exact audio quality because the distance from the camera doesn't matter because the microphone's independently on its own stand. I've already pretty much covered all the positives of shotgun microphones, that they have high quality sound, that they're directional, that they're not attached to your camera. The cons of shotgun microphones is that they are right up there with condensers as one of the most expensive microphone options. They also need to be powered. This particular shotgun microphone has a battery inside to power it, or it can be powered through phantom power. It also requires a specialized stand to boom the microphone in over the shot, which takes up a lot of space. So if you're just filming in your home, that can be a bit inconvenient. And now a quick comparison of all of the microphones back to back to hear what they sound like compared to each other. Alright, so I forgot to film this part with this microphone. We're down in the studio with the, what is it called? We're filming this segment in the studio with the Rode VideoMicro to make this a fair comparison with all the other microphones. And get ready to hear me say this next phrase quite a bit. And this is what the mic sounds like. 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 And that's all, guys. Hope you got something out of it. Leave a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.